Hi everybody, welcome back to Bobby's Bucks, and today we're going to talk about hunting late season and all the challenges, some of the pros, some of the cons. And even though these deer are pressured and it's cold and it seems like there's no deer in the woods, we'll talk about how you can fill your tag. Stick with us, we're going to talk all about it today. Here we go. Late season here in Michigan is cold. We're talking single digits, sometimes even into the negatives. So it's kind of tough because you can't sweat on the way out to the stand, because once you get to your stand, you'll freeze and you'll only last an hour. And to hike all the way out there only to turn around, and plus you have to have confidence in your spot. You have to believe that the deer are going to be moving. And after the season, hunting early season and hunting late season, they're so different. We're making calls, we're luring deer, attracting deer by these calls. If you were to try to use your grunt call or try to rattle, these deer are going to hightail it out of there so fast. They've been so pressured, thousands of hunters in the woods pressuring these deer, and they are very spooked and they are not moving as much. And you'll notice that. I mean, anybody who runs trail cameras, the movement it's so suppressed now. And it will gear back up towards the end of November. But if you were to check your trail cameras now, and you probably know this, they're just not moving. And the bucks aren't really on the trail cameras, and if you do see bucks, they're probably nighttime pictures or videos. Not everybody's property is the same. Of course, if you have a property that hasn't seen any hunting pressure, then things are going to be different. We're not going to be making calls. We're strictly going to be setting up and trying to ambush these deer where they're feeding. The bucks have lost so much weight breeding and chasing. Now they have to hit this food really hard. They have to get healthy again. They have to put the weight back on. So we're hunting food. We're trying to ambush deer over food, near the food. And this is a fun time to hunt because, you can hunt with your buddies in box blinds or ground blinds. You can run a little propane heater. Maybe you can bring your snacks and just catch up if you haven't hung out with your buddies in a long time, some family and friends. I mean, it's a great time to be in the woods. You get to track deer in the snow, blood trails on snow. That is so cool. And if you want to find a buck, you literally can track a buck just by good old-fashioned tracks. If you find some big tracks, you're gonna get so hot walking that you're gonna be able to take your gloves off. I mean, you could stick your hands right in the snow, at least I can, and I don't run very hot. I get cold pretty easy. But when you're walking around with all that gear, you have to keep moving because at that point you've been sweating, and because that sweat will freeze. That's the problem, is you really have to slow things down. When you are hiking out, like say a half mile to a mile or something, you really want to move slow and make controlled movements, because for one, it's maybe slippery getting up into your tree stand, the steps and everything. But take your heated equipment. If you haven't got one, get a heated vest, get some heated insoles. I even take a heated hand rock, a hot rock. That's in the bag. I throw that right in the hand warmer. So you need these tools if you're hunting in northern states. Early season, the trail cameras will be on the food. Then, towards the peak of the rut, we'll move them to scrapes. We'll move them on the water. And then late season, we'll move them back to the food again. And this is basically, we're waiting for the second time around with the does that weren't bred. Because the does that go into estrus, they're getting bred by bucks, but there's not bucks for every single doe. In most cases, it's not a 1-to-1. That's a healthy buck to doe ratio. And a lot of places have more does than bucks. And if you've really been managing well, then you may even have more bucks than does, and you probably see a lot more bucks. So 28 days after the first breeding, there will be a second breeding. Those does that didn't get bred the first time will be bred the second time. And all of them will be bred. And because the bucks, the older bucks, they've been around the block before, they know what's happening. And this is really cool because this is a good opportunity for you, because these older bucks will be traveling. They'll be going even farther to find does that are available to breed. So you may see a magnificent animal that you've never even seen before. You may catch some pictures of a big buck on a trail camera that you've never seen because of that. That's what's happening. So this helps me have confidence even when I don't see anything. You know, our muzzle loading season, which is December 2nd to December 11th, I'm really feeling confident that I know that there's going to be bucks out there cruising. Every year I look forward to filling my tag late season. Hopefully I get to track a deer in the snow. I would say it's harder to kill a deer late season than it is during the October lull. I mean, there's just less activity. More of these deer have been killed, and they're just not moving around in the same way. I wouldn't pressure my properties for the latter part of November. I'd let it cool back off. So in most cases, I've already harvested a deer the first 2 weeks of November, maybe sometime in October, and I'm pretty whipped. I mean, I hunted 9 straight days in a row. I had a vacation this year. I had a great time. I always look forward to my little adventure. And the night that I harvested my deer, I was so tired. I was talking to myself as I was climbing that tree, you know, gonna make it, gonna make it. And when I shot that buck, the first thing out of my mouth was, thank God. I was exhausted. After my hunting trip, I usually take a break. You know, now there has been some seasons, a couple seasons ago, I didn't even harvest a deer. I just never got a chance at a good buck, a good shot opportunity, and I just ended up shooting a couple does late season. But my system usually is harvest a deer early season, or in the peak rut, and then on the second rut, first week of December, whenever muzzleloading's going on, I'll try to go back at it and shoot a buck on public land, or maybe I'll hunt with a bow on our property. This is what I do every year. So, and I'm hunting food. I'm hunting food really hard, not right over the food, but near the food. And in some cases, I will take a blind that's right on a food plot because I'm just waiting for a good deer. And there may be 12 doe in the food plot, but I'm not going to harvest a doe until the last, you know, week or so of the season, because I'm going to really try to harvest a buck. And you can harvest a buck, not to say like even into December. I mean, heck, well into December, latter part of December, you know, there's always bucks taken. I was just reading a story about this Michigan world record here. A 200-inch deer was taken in Ingham County back in 2006, and it was December 18th. Probably my favorite part about late season is the tracking the blood on the snow and dragging a snow sled. You can take a 200-pound deer and put it on a snow sled and drag that thing with one hand. Hope you guys shoot a good one. Get out there, have confidence in your spot. Try not to sweat too much on your way out there. And you're going to have to change your game plan. You can't set up on those funnels. You know, you're not going to be able to set up over scrapes or that sort of thing. You know, you're going to want to hunt this food. These bucks are going to be moving, and they're going to be looking for these does, and these does are actually hitting these secure, these safe food sources. So try not to pressure your properties. Try not to go in too early. I would say right when that muzzle loading starts, be out there with your favorite muzzle loader or rifle. And actually in southern Michigan here, they're letting us use any legal rifle during muzzle loading for I think the 4th year in a row, which is really cool. So I'll be out there with my Bushmaster. Good luck. Hope you guys shoot a deer that you're proud of, and we'll see you on the next video.